Hello and welcome back to PTMTR, where today I made a discovery. Pie week is a thing. Yup. And it's possibly my favorite week of all time. To celebrate, slightly belated because it finished on the 9th, I'm going to make a comfort food juggernaut, chicken and leek pie. We're going to start by taking some beautiful skinless chicken breasts and chop them up into largest chunks. You don't want to go too small. We want it to seem like there's chicken actually in this thing. So if you've got any particularly larger or thicker slices, this helps especially with cook time as well. Cut it slightly thinner but into larger chunks, if that makes any sense at all. Season the chicken with some salt and pepper and about 1.5 tablespoons of white flour. This will come in handy when we're thickening the sauce later on. Some chili flakes, a bit of cayenne pepper and some smoked paprika, and just toss the chicken until all the pieces are thoroughly coated. Now let's prep our veggies. I've got some mushrooms for their creaminess, a red onion because it's sweeter and less pronounced than white, some carrots and some amazing celery, and of course a leek. Side note, just because of the way these grow, and you'll find a fair bit of soil and dirt tucked away into the leaves, so just top and tail it, cut it lengthways in half and wash all that dirt out of there. Now really this point determines your overall cook time. You can cut these up into slightly larger and chunkier pieces if you've got a bit more time on your hands, but I'm starving so I want to get this done ASAP. We're going to finally cut these veggies so they cook down and caramelize faster. In this recipe with 2 breasts, I'm using 4 mushrooms, half a leek, 3 small stalks of celery and 2 small carrots, and obviously 1 onion. And with celery I'd say always go thinner just because of the anatomy of the vegetable itself. You don't want those long stringy bits hanging about in your pie later on. There's also the fact that there's more surface area which will release a lot more flavour a lot faster. You don't have to skin your carrots. It's probably healthier to keep the skin on, to be fair, but I'm going to peel mine and I'm cutting all of these less than 1 centimeter thick. And finally the red onion. I'm going to slice it root facing outward so while it cooks it retains more structure and it'll bring some more contrast to the mouthfeel later on. But if your kids aren't eating onions, then just dice them real fine and they'll just disappear into the pie later on. Just make sure you keep your chopped onions separate because we'll need to cook them with the chicken first. Talking of, take a pan on medium-high heat and go in with about 1.5 tablespoons worth of olive oil. Throw in your chicken and make sure you spread it out so it's all going to cook evenly, and go in with about 3 small knobs of butter. Let it cook for a few minutes or until you see some beautiful colour forming on the bottom, and make sure that you're turning them over to make sure everything is fully cooked. At this point, go in with your onions and let them sweat down nicely. Once your onions look sweated down, we're going to start building our aromatic layers, starting with the harder veggies first. You'll see here over a few minutes the crowded pan will start to deflate as the veggies wilt and cook away. I'm going to go in with some fresh parsley to bring some freshness and some beautiful peas. Also you can use normal thyme, but I'm actually using lemon thyme here. So just grab a twig and run your pinched fingers down the stalk to pick them faster. We don't want any of the hard woody stalks in there. Go in with the rest of your peas, about 1/2 cup in total, and season it again with some salt and pepper. Now this is meant to actually add the salt because it draws out a lot of the moisture from the vegetables and helps them cook down a lot faster. See, it's not all just pretty food here, there's a bit of science in there as well. And make sure you give it a good thorough mix through until all the flavors start to get to know each other. Then go in with your chicken stock. I've made this beautiful roasted chicken stock myself, or you can just use a single stock cube in some hot water. Anyway, go in with the stock until the chicken is almost halfway covered and let the mix start to simmer before spooning in 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. Again, cutting through the deeper flavors of the dish and breathe new life into the creaminess of it all. Give it a mix through until you see the sauce start to thicken. I don't particularly enjoy thicker fillings, but if you like yours a little thicker, mix some corn flour and water into that, or just a bit more flour. Just make sure you cook it through until the flavor of the raw flour is gone. Now to start on the classic short crust top, lightly flour your worktop with plain flour and start rolling out your pastry. I'm going to use store-bought stuff because I need more video ideas, so I'll make pastry some other time. I like to just get the dish I'll be using and roughly map out a shape about 1 inch bigger on all sides. Then just roll it back onto the rolling pin so we can start building the pie itself. Start filling your dish with that beautiful filling and make sure you're spreading everything evenly so you don't have a domestic later on about who had more chicken in which piece. Lightly butter the edges so the pastry won't stick, and then unravel that beautiful pastry over the top. Now being very careful not to poke any holes into the pastry itself, push it down so it sits flush with the filling, and use the excess to crimp and shape a crust around the outside. Now I'm no pro in any sense of the word, so when it comes to crimping, just go nuts. All you need to make sure really here is that everything is sealed correctly. You don't want any of the filling spilling out onto the pastry itself. Now in a separate nailed it. Then in a separate bowl, whisk an egg and a splash of cold water to make a simple egg wash, and make sure you're getting a thorough coating. Now inscribe what you must and make it gram worthy, of course. Add your lift signature and stick it into a 180 degrees Celsius preheated oven, and I don't know how long for, just until you think the crust is the color that you want it to be. Now please just let it rest, because you will burn yourself. I know it looks so delicious, but just hold it down. Once it's cool enough, dig in and enjoy. Please like, share and comment, subscribe to my channel, and please let me know if you want me to make anything else, if you want me to try anything, and support me on my Patreon page, of course, if you like what I'm doing. I'm going to leave a link down below. Happy cooking.